Well, thanks for visiting us here at KTALnews.com. I'm meteorologist Josh Marces. Wanted to wait until the sun was up to give you an update so we could get a check on the roads there and just see what's happening this morning. But recording this at about 8:40 and just past sunrise here. Not a lot of cars out on the road, so a lot of snow, ice, sleet still compacted on the roadways here. And that's going to be the issue today and through the first half of the day tomorrow. So if you've been stuck at home all weekend and can't get to where you need to be, I would expect we'll see a lot of those travel impacts again today with very cold temperatures and another very cold night. As cold as it was this morning, it will be even colder later tonight, and then we'll begin that thawing process on Tuesday. So I think we'll really begin to see some improvements by tomorrow afternoon. I think most of us will be able to get out of the house at some point tomorrow, but the roadways will probably be dealing with some slick spots through the week here, but we should see some big improvements by the middle of the week here. And let's touch on those temperatures as well as the sleet that we did see over the weekend. You'll probably see a lot of images next day or two coming out of Nashville, Tennessee, and maybe over towards Oxford, Mississippi, and that's where they had the significant freezing rain. We were lucky that we didn't see a lot of freezing rain, but we saw a ton of sleet, which is now compacted into the ice. That meant fewer power outages for us overall, but it means some serious road impacts here. So you get that 2 to 3 inches of sleet that we had over the weekend, and in some areas, even Bossier, almost 4 inches of that sleet, and over towards Ringgold and Bienville Parish, we had a report of a 6-inch storm total. That would be the freezing rain and sleet packed on top of each other, but that is just kind of stuck to the roads here, especially given the cold temperatures. So it's an absolute skating rink out there today, and it is going to take a few days for us to chip through that, especially with the lows dropping below freezing each night. We'll see kind of a slush develop during the day that will refreeze each night. I don't expect that we'll see much of it slush up today. The sun will be great for it, but your temperatures are in the teens and low 20s here, and there's that breeze coming through about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So pretty breezy start to the day. In some locations, we actually had a wind chill that was down below 10 degrees in most areas at sunrise here. So if you go outside, that extreme cold warning is in effect. And not only today, but through noon tomorrow, the wind chills will be their lowest this morning, just below 10 degrees there. And what that means, if you're outside on a day like today, if you have any exposed skin for a long period of time, you could definitely wind up with some frostbite or some issues there. So if you're headed out, make sure you have the gloves, the scarf, and try to cover up as much of your exposed skin as possible. What I'm willing to bet a lot of you will not be spending out time outside today, but we have a lot of line crews here in town trying to get the power restored, so make sure they're kept nice and warm. If you see them in the neighborhood, maybe offer them a warm beverage there. So our temperatures expected to wind up in the low to mid 30s. I am encouraged this morning we didn't drop as low as what we were expecting, so that may give us a little running start here. So I'm hopeful these temperatures may come in a bit above forecast today, but even if we're above freezing, let's say for 2 to 3 hours, and we see a little slush develop, it will quickly refreeze. Won't be a flash freeze tonight, but pretty close to it, as we'll drop below freezing just after sunset in those areas, and we'll see the lows tonight down to about 4 degrees in Idabel, and maybe in the low teens areas like Texarkana and Shreveport down to 12. So make sure the pets are in again tonight. Protect your pipes and plants, and of course just make sure that everybody is kept warm here for the next few days. Definitely want to keep the blankets with you later tonight. So satellite radar showing that north wind that's coming down out of Canada. This is the jet stream here, so the source region for our cold air is all the way up towards the polar region there. So it's definitely an Arctic air mass that has made its way in. This high will kind of move to the east here, so we'll be out of the Arctic air by the middle of the week. Still will be cold. We're expecting highs likely Wednesday and Thursday will be in the upper 40s, low 50s. That's about as high as it will get this week, and that any other week that would be considered some pretty chilly days. But today those will be our warmer days. Again, late this week there will be another front that drops in. You'll see that likely into the Thursday and Friday time frame. It's so dry, of course, with this last storm system. We had all that Pacific moisture moving in, but really doesn't look like we'll see that Pacific stream of moisture with this system. So as of now, we're expecting those dry conditions. You can see all the rain down in the Gulf. That's where that jet stream will be as we go through this week. We'll have to keep an eye on that in case it meanders a little further north here. But either way, take-home message here is that we are back into that chilly air again by Friday. Not that it's going to be much warmer through the middle of the week, but our temperatures likely will wind up in the upper 40s, low 50s, and then maybe fall back into the 30s at times over the weekend. But there's your highs for tomorrow. So after starting out in the teens and maybe single digits, we will be back safely above freezing for several hours in most areas. Those of you that make it into the 40s will likely see big time improvements Tuesday, especially for the afternoon commute. Should be a lot of slush out there by Tuesday afternoon. Unfortunately, that will refreeze again Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, so the morning commutes will be no fun for those of you that are typically on the roadways between maybe 4 and 8 in the morning there. But gradually those lows are are back towards 30 Thursday. That's where we should see the biggest improvement here Wednesday into Thursday, when those overnight lows are in the 20s, and we just won't get that hard freezy tonight. And then we get closer to the weekend. Some of the cool air dips in Friday. Possible will be down in the 30s on Saturday, but we rebound quickly by next Sunday. We're pushing 50 degrees, and there will be some days in the 50s early next week.